You open your eyes. The air smells of antique wood, dust, and absolute cold. One wrong move right now, and the heavy oak doors of this house will close for you forever. You are standing in a massive hall, surrounded by portraits of your ancestors. You just wanted to choose your own path, to build a life without looking back at your family's 300-year legacy. But the old money system does not tolerate individuality. Your trust fund accounts are frozen. Security is already carrying your belongings out the estate gates. There is only one object lying on a silver tray by the exit. A thick envelope made of expensive paper. It is sealed with heavy red wax bearing the family crest. An order of excommunication from the family and You are a branch ruthlessly severed from the genealogical tree so as not to spoil the perfect picture. Your name no longer belongs to you. But what if we rewind time? What if the patriarch who places that red wax seal and erases his own children from history one day becomes you? The path is chosen. Elite boarding school. Early morning, your morning smells of freshly cut grass and shoe polish. You are sitting in the library of a private school for heirs. You are the legacy student, the very first level of aristocracy. Your routine is Latin lessons, academic rowing, and private clubs. You wear the blazer your grandfather wore. You are judged not by your grades, but by who your parents play golf with. On the edge of a massive silver rowing cup, a tiny snail in a fedora hat freezes for a second. You blink, and it disappears behind the trophy. A brilliant scholarship student approaches you. He has no wealthy parents, only pure talent. He asks you to put in a good word for him with the secret society to get a chance at an Ivy League admission. But your peers look at him with disdain. He is not from our circle. If you vouch for him, you help talent, but become an outcast among your own. If you turn away and stay silent, you keep your status, but betray your own principles for snobbery. What do? Choose. Help the outsider or protect your circle. A man in a beige coat slowly steps out of the shadows of the tall bookcases. His gray hair contrasts sharply with the perfect uniforms of the students. Detective Jimmy pulls an antique silver coin from his pocket. His partner, a snail in a minicoat, carefully studies the minting. You are not protecting traditions. You are protecting a monopoly, Jimmy says calmly, tossing the coin. In-group favoritism. Your brain is evolutionarily programmed to divide the world into us and them, justifying any privileges simply by the fact of being born in the right pack. Charity Gala. Dusk, you are the trust fund heir, the second level of the system. The air is saturated with expensive champagne and fake smiles. Your routine is reputation management. You write checks for the environment while your family's factories pollute rivers. You have millions, but you cannot spend a cent without the trust's approval. Your life is a golden cage with a perfect view. On the rim of your crystal glass, the wet trail of a snail slowly pulsates. A new investment project lands on the table. The trust plans to buy and demolish an entire working-class neighborhood to build an elite golf club for their own. You have the right to veto this project, but if you do, the elder relatives will freeze your dividends, leaving you without your accustomed standard of living. If you sign the project, hundreds of families will lose their homes, but your accounts will fill with new zeros. If you veto it, you save the neighborhood, but lose your funding and status. Choose. Sign the project or veto it. Jimmy stands by the huge panoramic window. He picks up a heavy gold cigarette case left on the table. The snail crawls slowly across the smooth gold, unable to get a grip. "Wealth you did not earn does not make you free," the detective says quietly, putting the object back. "Golden handcuffs, financial dependence forces your prefrontal cortex to adapt its morality to the demands of those who write the checks. You buy comfort at the cost of your own will." Skyscraper office. Before dawn, you are the family fixer. The third level. The trap has snapped shut. The air smells of strong espresso and paranoia. Your routine is cleaning up the dirt left by your relatives. You hush up scandals, bribe journalists, and draft non-disclosure agreements. The reputation of the dynasty must remain flawless at any cost. On a mountain of shredded bank statements, the snail freezes, blending in with the paper scraps. Your cousin committed a major financial fraud with the charity fund's money. He is tortured by his conscience and wants to confess everything publicly to clear his soul and face punishment. But the family demands that you solve the problem quietly. Commit your brother to a closed psychiatric clinic against his will, declaring him insane. This will hide the scandal forever. If you lock your brother in the clinic, you break his life and destroy his psyche, but you save the fund. If you let him confess, the fund will collapse. Thousands of real patients will lose their funding, and you will become a traitor to the dynasty. Choose, lock brother in clinic, or let him confess. Jimmy sits in the leather chair across from you. He picks up the involuntary commitment order. The snail freezes right on the line with the patient's last name. There are no good or bad decisions. There is only accounting, Jimmy says, looking at the papers. System justification. To preserve the structure, you are ready to sacrifice the individual. The most terrifying things in corporations and families are not done out of malice, but out of a deep conviction that the system is more important than the person. Antique mansion library, pre-dawn half-light, you are the patriarch. The fourth, final level. The sky outside the window is barely getting light. Your office smells of ancient power and absolute loneliness. Your routine now is managing eternity. You don't look at price tags, you look centuries ahead. People to you are just branches on a genealogical tree. Invisibility is not power, it is a sentence. Behind the facade of perfect aristocracy hides the cruelest dictatorship in the world. An envelope lies on the massive oak desk. Next to it, a candle burns and red wax melts. It is that exact same document from the prologue. The mirror clue has closed the loop. Your youngest child has come to you. He refuses to participate in the family trust. He wants to marry someone outside your circle and live a normal life. He is breaking the main rule. Blood does not mix with the street. On the red, still hot wax, a wet trail remains. The snail. You are holding the family seal in your hands. If you press the seal down and excommunicate your child from the family, you preserve the purity of the capital and tradition, but you lose your son forever. If you set the seal aside, you show love, but you create a precedent that will eventually destroy the empire. The final crossroads. Choose excommunicate child or break tradition. Jimmy slowly approaches your desk. He looks thoughtfully at the melting red wax. The snail crosses onto the family crest. Every generation pays the bills of the previous one. The detective notes quietly, looking at your face. Transgenerational trauma. You inherit not only trust funds, but also your coldness. It's time to look into the archives and understand how this golden cage breaks the psyche. Jimmy's archive. Jimmy opens the heavy steel door labeled archive. Inside, on the wooden shelves, lie silver cups, gold cigarette cases, and wax seals. The legacy student's case. In group favoritism. The snail crawls across a silver spoon, carefully avoiding the ordinary steel utensils nearby. A psychological mechanism where a person unconsciously favors members of their own social group. In aristocratic circles, this is taken to the absolute. The brain uses origins as the sole filter for trust. This creates closed echo chambers where talents are ignored in favor of the right pedigree. How to hack this bug? Artificially expand your social circle. Judge people solely by their actions in crisis situations, not by their connections. True capital is skills, not origins. Google. In-group favoritism, social identity. The trust fund Heir's case. Golden handcuffs. The snail tries to squeeze through a heavy gold ring, but gets stuck inside. A phenomenon where financial incentives, trusts, bonuses, inheritance are used to keep a person in a toxic or unwanted role. The brain quickly gets used to extreme comfort, and the fear of losing status paralyzes the will. A person becomes a hostage to the expectations of others because they fear poverty more than a lack of freedom. Psychological first aid. Build parallel financial independence. Find a skill that will feed you without the involvement of your family or corporation. Freedom begins the moment you can afford to say no. Google. Golden handcuffs. Behavioral economics. The fixer's case. System justification and the banality of evil. The snail hides under a sheet of a legal document, blending completely with the paper. A defensive cognitive mechanism that causes people to defend and justify the existing status quo, even if it is deeply unjust. Eliminating a person socially or psychologically ceases to be perceived as evil if it is done for the higher purpose of the system or the fund. Immoral acts become dry, bureaucratic routine. How to avoid becoming a monster. Morality is always individual, not collective. Establish a personal red line for yourself. As soon as the system demands that you destroy someone else's life for numbers in a report, get out of the game. Google. System justification theory, JOST. The Patriarch's case. Transgenerational trauma. The snail crawls across the genealogical tree, leaving a wet trail that erases the names. The process of transmitting psychological behavioral patterns, coldness, control, paranoia, from generation to generation. In dynasties, children are often perceived not as individuals, but as managers of future assets. The patriarch's coldness is not hatred. It is a copied survival algorithm that he himself received from his father. How to break the cycle. Realize that you are not obligated to repeat the script. If the system requires you to sacrifice your own child for the sake of tradition, break the tradition. Be the one who stops the transmission of pain. Google. Transgenerational trauma transmission.
Author's commentary. Hello, friends. This is the creator of the Detective Jimmy and Snail channel. The topic of old money seems like something out of a movie about aristocrats, but in reality, the psychological traps we analyze today are present in the lives of every one of us. Have you ever encountered golden handcuffs? When you hate your job, hate your boss, but you can't leave because they pay you a little above market rate, and you have a mortgage, it's the exact same trust fund trap, just on a different scale. We sell our freedom for comfort, and in group favoritism. Remember school cliques, office gossip, or private parties where you are judged not by your mind, but by whether you are one of us or an outsider. The system always tries to force us to choose loyalty to the pack over our own conscience. The invisibility of aristocrats is not their power. It is their prison. They are locked in their own rules. True strength lies in being able to give up status if it requires you to betray yourself. I am incredibly curious, have you ever fallen into the golden handcuffs trap? Has there ever been a time when you held onto a toxic place just for the money? The link to our community is waiting for you in the pinned comment. Head over there, a poll for this video is already up. Let's discuss this honestly. This was the Detective Jimmy and Snail channel. See you in the shadows.